across Tasmania. This is Win News.
Tonight, the AFL boss announces plans for the future of football in the state. Tasmanian women set to again have access to low-cost terminations, and the bid to manage Bruny Island's feral cat problem. Good evening, I'm Lucy Braden. Gillan McLaughlin believes he and his steering committee have put the foundations in place for Tasmania to one day have an AFL team of its own. The recommendations from a gruelling 3-month investigation were released today, headlined by a provisional VFL licence.
Hey everyone.
Gillan McLaughlin's steering committee quickly discovered Tasmanian football was in a very bad place.
Talent pathways are fragmented. The community football interrelationships aren't working.
Brent Costelloe, Win News.
And we'll have the reaction from the football community later in sport. It's feared the health of hundreds of Tasmanians may be at risk after inaccurate colonoscopies were performed on patients at Hobart's Calvary Hospital. Nurses are now frantically calling those affected, offering them a second procedure at no extra cost. Revealing concerns this afternoon, 390 Tasmanians will be urged to have a repeat colonoscopy if they underwent the procedure with the late Dr. Hugh Jackson at Calvary Hospital between November 1 last year and May 2 this year. Concerned Tasmanians can contact the hospital's helpline or visit the website. After 10 months without a service, Tasmanian women are set to again have safe access to surgical terminations, with the government signing an in-principle agreement with a private provider. But some are questioning why it's taken this long.
Tasmanian health and family planning advocates have been campaigning for a safe abortion service for months, after the only dedicated clinic closed its doors last December. Ainsley Kosh, Win News.
Meanwhile, the Greens say they've received allegations of a disease outbreak at Tassal's Dover and Tasman farms, resulting in the deaths of 1,200 salmon a day. It comes after 1.4 million fish died in Macquarie Harbour over summer.
Now there's another allegation of up to 300,000 fish dying from a fish disease, and the government is hiding and won't even answer the allegations.
But Tassal says Pilchard virus levels are the lowest they've been in 3 years. The Education Union says its members are fed up with low wages and increased workloads, claiming teachers are being forced to move interstate. The AEU has detailed a list of priorities it will now take to the state government.
Teachers from across the state gathered in Hobart, voicing their concern about a legacy of cuts and underfunding.
With feral cats wreaking havoc on Bruny Island, the bid to manage the problem has been given a boost. It's one of 5 islands around the country to receive funding for an eradication program.
The feral cat population has skyrocketed on Bruny Island in recent years. Alarming new data has revealed there are about 50 cats per square kilometre of land. Olivia Hicks, Win News.
Tasmania has once again shone on the national stage, with an Evandale brewery walking away with the swag of medals from this year's Independent Beer Awards. Van Diemen Brewing took out 7 medals, including gold for its Max Estate Ale. Meanwhile, Hobart's Franklin has been named Tasmania's top eatery and came in at number 14 on the list of Australia's top 100 restaurants. The Agrarian Kitchen was ranked 32 and took out the top newcomer award. Ahead on Win News, some of the state's best young runners go head-to-head, and the next generation of engineers put through their paces. Welcome back. Taking a look at what's making national headlines now. And 12 boys and their soccer coach will be given enough food for 4 months as rescuers determine how to get them out of a 4-kilometre deep cave in Thailand. The team was miraculously found alive after going missing nearly 10 days ago. There are calls for Archbishop Philip Wilson to be sacked from the Catholic Church after he was sentenced to 12 months detention for covering up child abuse. Senator David Leyonhjelm has refused to apologise to Sarah Hanson-Young, and a bear has interrupted cocktail hour, hijacking a spa in California. A new charity walk is aiming to raise much-needed funds for Tasmania's homeless. Next week, a group of dedicated walkers will take part in a 40-kilometre overnight pilgrimage. They'll trek from Hobart to Mount Wellington and then down into the Huon Valley. More than 1,300 students from across the state have battled it out in the annual Tasmanian Secondary Schools Cross Country. Organisers say the sportsmanship of the young runners is to be commended as participation continues to grow.
On your marks.
Battling the elements is what competitors have come to expect.
Sport now with Brent Costelloe, and you have more on Tasmania's football future next.
Oh, well, Lucy, we get the take of the North Launceston Footy Club president on the day's events. Also coming up, Jaden Plugger Joseph prepares for his Australian title defence. Good evening. As you heard earlier, Tasmania has been granted a provisional VFL licence off the back of the AFL Steering Committee findings into the future of Tasmanian football. A significant cash injection at TAC Cup sides and regional hubs were also announced during Gillon McLaughlin's trip south, but hopes of securing an AFL licence remain a long way off. Some in the football industry have labelled today's visit Christmas in July.
Our vision is to rebuild and to unify.
Tasmanian boxer Jaden Plugger Joseph will defend his Australian cruiserweight title in Brisbane this weekend. The youngster has enjoyed a steep rise to his professional career and says he's happy to keep knocking him down.
9 weeks ago, Jaden Plugger Joseph was crowned national champion, and he's only recently felt at home with his new accessory. Jake Keating, Win News.
Launceston-born Chris Golding was at the centre of an ugly brawl during the Boomers World Cup qualifier in the Philippines.
There's a free-for-all going on.
As ugly as it was, it took us back to similar scenes 7 years ago when the Chargers' Thunder rivalry escalated to a new level. Remember that night very well indeed, Lucy. It was very memorable.
Very memorable, and still 7 years on, we're still talking about it.
Exactly.
Crazy stuff. Thanks for that, Brent. Stay with us. I'll have all the weather details next. Welcome back to Win News. Taking a look at the day's weather now. Conditions were mostly cloudy for the islands. King reached 13 degrees, Flinders 14. In the northwest, Burnie and Devonport also reached 14 degrees. Launceston had a chilly morning with a top of 13. The same for St Helens and Swansea. Rain for Strahan and Queenstown, and Hobart had a cloudy day with 16 the top. The satellite shows clouds spreading from the northwest ahead of a cold front, bringing gusty showers. On the water, winds will reach 30 knots in the north with westerly swells above 1 metre. 20 to 30 knot winds for the east, seas to 3 metres with 1 metre swells. The south will have 30 knot winds, seas and swells between 3 to 4 metres. And in the west, 25 to 35 knot winds and 4 metre westerly swells. A gale warning is current for western coastal waters from southeast Cape to Stanley. There's a strong wind warning current for all remaining coastal waters and a small craft wind alert for the southwest and central plateau lakes. Around the state tomorrow, showers on the Bass Strait Islands. King should reach 15, Flinders 16. Smithton, Wynyard, Burnie, Devonport and Launceston will all have showers and a top of 15. 16 degrees and showers for St Helens and Swansea. In the west, Strahan will reach 14 and Hobart will have showers and 15 degrees. Interstate tomorrow, there will also be showers for Brisbane and Perth, but the other major centres will be mostly sunny and mild. And looking ahead back home, conditions will be wet in the northwest with rain and showers to continue for the rest of the week. Launceston will have showers developing into heavy rain on Thursday and Friday, becoming fine again from Sunday. And Hobart will have showers until early next week. Monday and Tuesday will be mostly sunny. And that's Win News for this Tuesday. To keep up to date with the local news, you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Lucy Braden. Have a wonderful evening and I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
been a Win News presentation. Win News, regional Australia's #1 news source.